بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين والصلاة والسلام على المبعوث رحمة للعالمين نبينا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه ومن اهتدى بهديه واقتدى بسنة إلى يوم الدين وبعد. So, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. We continue with this wonderful series we've begun by the mercy of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala quite some time back, and we will continue with the discussion today on how Islam teaches us as Muslims to deal with anxiety and depression and so many other mental sicknesses that people unfortunately are not only facing today, but they've been there for a very long time. However, how we can deal with them from an Islamic perspective, and especially in today's topic or in today's talk, we deal with a problem that has become very common, a problem that has become unfortunately, very many youth, many teens, many adolescents are prey to it. So we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to make it easy for all of us to rid us of all of these problems, some of which, unfortunately, we may be possibly causing ourselves. Yes, it is mental weakness. Yes, it is from Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Or yes, it is a sickness that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to us, or tested us with. However, sometimes the causes of these sicknesses we may be ourselves. We may be the ones who are giving to the cause, we may be the ones that are actually a means of causing the sickness. I'm lost for words. There's a particular word that I'm looking for. Unfortunately, it's not in my mind at this time. Nevertheless, it's how social media also plays a very great role on depression, on anxiety, on sleep deprivation, and so many other problems, which we will discuss, inshallah, just now. So to begin with, social media, most probably when we access our phones, and these phones that we have, by the way, these smartphones, they only came into the picture at approximately 2007. So in 2007, smartphones are introduced. They are, so to say, invented. Yes, the cell phone was invented, it was introduced, it was created, it was designed far before this. But the concept of a smartphone, this was only introduced to us at approximately 2007. Now, in 2007, the smartphone comes out, and approximately by 2015, so by 2015, we're looking at 92% of teens, young adults, owning them. So within a span of 8 years, you've got 92% of us here in North America owning a smartphone, not just a cell phone, not just one of those flip phones, not one of those razors made by Motorola, or not one of those bricks made by Nokia. No, we're talking about a smartphone, one that you can actually access all of these different applications from, one which makes it so very easy for us to be able to reach out to the world with literally a click, without having to place a call, without having to hear anybody else's voice. I mean, this is what it's done. It's made the entire world a global village for us. This is what the internet, this is what www.com, this is what the World Wide Web, this is what it is. The whole world has become a small little global village. And you can access literally any corner nook of the world where there may be towers, where there is reception, where there is connection. You can easily speak to, you can talk to, you can have a video call with, you can have a conference call with anybody in different parts and corners of the world. However, we're not discussing the benefits that human beings have derived and continue to derive from the use of these smartphones, or even the cell phone that has made life so convenient for us. We're talking about harms. We're talking about the depression. We're talking about the anxiety. We're talking about poor sleep quality. We're talking about the lower self-esteem. We're talking about the inattention, unfortunately. We're talking about hyperactivity. All of this that we find mostly in the teens and in the youth and in the adolescents today, we're talking about that. That is what this discussion is about. We will not for a moment undermine the benefits that we take from the use of the cell phone. And it's ironic, as I continue to mention whatever it is that I'm speaking about, as I continue to speak these words, I am making use of a cell phone very gratefully at this particular moment in time. This recording, this talk now, this lecture is being broadcasted, is being streamed from my phone. So there are tremendous benefits. I will not, give a blind eye to the benefits, to the blessings that these phones have brought to us. But without without a shadow of a doubt, there are harms. And when we pick up this phone that so many people own in this day and age, here in North America, we're not speaking about the developing countries or the third world countries. We're talking about us here in North America, in Canada, and in England, and the first world countries. When we pick up this phone, more than, I'm not exactly sure, I don't have a statistical figure for this, but I would say 95% of the time, we did not pick up the phone. 95% of the time, we're not picking up a phone to answer a call. We're actually engaging in something on social media, whether it was Facebook, which of course stems from my time. To those of the newer generation, it's probably a laugh now. And then there's Instagram, and then we had Snapchat, and then for some time we had those Vines, but I think they died. And now we've got TikTok. Oh boy, we've got TikTok. Somebody told me very clearly the other day, they said it will never finish. And I fully agree with what they said. You will probably never finish browsing every single TikTok that there is, every single video, if that's what we want to call it, every single stream that is on TikTok. You will probably never, ever finishing. Back in the days, we used to talk about, there were so many books in this library. There were so many books in his library, or in the library of so-and-so university, or so-and-so Institute of Islamic Studies, Islamic Sciences, that if you spent an entire lifetime reading, you probably would not finish reading all of those books, let alone being able to memorize or fathom every concept that was written therein. And today, this is exactly what I heard a couple of weeks ago. It was only a couple of weeks ago, perhaps during the month of Ramadan or right after. I was told that if you wanted to, of course, I'm rephrasing, if you wanted to watch every TikTok, you would not be able to do so. There's literally way too many. And for those of you who have TikTok, you can just check. It tells you on this genre or on this topic, on this theme, there are this many billion. Are you kidding me? This many billion. And at one point I thought maybe this is how many people liked all of the videos that you find under that. No. I assume, and correct me if I'm wrong, for anybody that may be listening to this right now, that's literally how many billion videos there are on that topic on TikTok. Oh my goodness. So now we're going to talk about how this leaves a very great psychological impact and an influence, unfortunately, most of the time negatively. Yes, again, I'm not generalizing, and I'm not making a very grave statement. I'm making it clear. Most of the time, not every time, you can learn a tremendous amount of do-it-yourself, activities or things that you want to learn, that you want to, you can do so much on TikTok. Definitely, you can give some great, reminders on TikTok. Absolutely, I do not deny the fact for a moment. I personally receive TikToks on WhatsApp all the time. You can tell the TikTok there is blinking, so it's from TikTok, but it comes on WhatsApp. I find some of the greatest things. As a matter of fact, on my iPhone here, the one that I'm using just now, on this iPhone, there is a calendar, which is the Islamic Hijri calendar. It's like built into the iPhone. So you just go to settings. I can't remember exactly what it was that I saw on the TikTok. You go into the settings and you play with the calendar, this or that, and then you just press Hijri and boom. I have the Islamic calendar on my phone there on my screen, present every single day, right under the Gregorian calendar. This is wonderful. This is excellent. I would never, without the help of the phone, I would probably never be able to even tell you sometimes if we were in the first 10 days of a specific Islamic month. Now I can tell you exactly which day we're on. Yes, there will be days when, because, the moon wasn't seen, or the moon, though this year it was perfectly, in accordance to what we saw, alhamdulillah, the moon and Ramadan and iPhone, they were all on the same page. But again, there are benefits. There are tremendous benefits, and no denying that there are extremely great benefits. I know people who've literally probably made, and I wouldn't be lying, based off of videos or whatever I've read, or whatever I've seen, they've made millions. And I can tell you very frankly, a lot of these people work from the convenience of their phone. So there are tremendous benefits. But again, there are harms. And because we've been discussing for weeks now, mental illnesses, mental sicknesses, These are issues, and these are real life issues. And today, this is what we're going to discuss. We spoke about making dua. We spoke about being thankful. We spoke about not comparing what you have with what others have. We spoke about a tremendous amount of different subtopics related to mental sicknesses. Today, we're talking about the harms of social media on us. So when we pick up this phone, most probably we are either reading somebody's post, watching somebody's TikTok or video. We are probably looking at somebody's picture. We are probably keeping up with what's going on our feed. Whatever it is, it's related to social media. Let's make that a fact. And 77%, this is in the US, and Canada, I would probably think is pretty much the same. In the US, 77% of the youth, of the teens, of the adolescents have some account. If you only have Facebook, you're from my generation where we say Michael Jordan was the greatest and not LeBron James. Good luck for him on his game tonight at 10:30 tonight. But if he loses, there he goes, eliminated in the first round. Nevertheless, this is to this generation. If you're from that generation, you might have Facebook, and then you might have Instagram, those that came a little later. And then you have Snapchat, and then you have, oh my, the list goes on. So these things do have a tremendous impact, influence on our behavior, on our social relationships, and on our mental health. I am not a rehab specialist. I am not a psychologist. I am not a psychiatrist. I am not anybody that's a professional in any field whatsoever. But I'm only going to share with you that which I have with me to share with you. And I know when the Prophet ﷺ said, "Min husni Islam al-mar'i tarkuhu ma la ya'ni," from the excellence of a person's Islam is that he leaves what's none of his business. If it doesn't have anything to do with him, leave it. And this is when we're opening up what we see on social media. A lot of times, did I need to know where he was, what she was doing, what he was talking about? How many times, whenever we've gone, on our feed to read, to watch, do we see things that are said, that are written about others that's not nice? How many times? Without exaggeration, at least once every single day, you'll find a bit of news where somebody is being exposed, where somebody is being back-talked, where somebody is being back-bitten, where somebody is being slandered, where somebody is being put down, being humiliated, being disgraced, being degraded, at least once every single day. Now, according to some of the scholars, is it even permissible for us to be reading that and engaging in that? That's a whole different discussion on its own. We're talking about what is this going to have? What impact is this going to have on me? So I mentioned it earlier, poor sleep quality. You can't sleep at night. You don't know why. You've got this phone in front of you. You got this screen in front of you. You've got this, sometimes a tablet in front of you. And then we question why. That's the physical, that's the exterior cause for perhaps a lack of sleep. Okay? Poor sleep quality, sleep deprivation, and God forbid, insomnia for some. Excuse me. Then we have depression. We've been talking about it all along, how social media plays a role in this now. Then we've got anxiety. Then we've got lower self-esteem. We've got inattention. We just can't focus. Hyperactivity, doing strange, crazy things. And we find this. We find this in teens. We find this in adolescents. We find this in young adults. So some people might say, they might counter and say, but wait, maybe the people need social media because they're depressed. People are depressed. And because they are depressed, that's why they need to log on to their accounts. That's why they need to keep up with what's going on in the world. Hold on a minute. Let me share with you what the professionals, the experts in the fields of psychology, what they have to say about this. So this is a social clinical, a journal that was written in the social and clinical psychology. And this is a study, as a matter of fact. You find it there in the journal. A study was completed. It was And they found that those who use social media less, they were less depressed. Obviously, a survey was done, a social experiment was done with a certain over 100. I remember the number was approximately 137 students or so. Social media was used less, they were less depressed, and they were less lonely, and there were better health outcomes. This is what they've proved. Unfortunately, sadly, they introduce it to us. I mean, not specific individuals. They try to bring convenience to us. They try to make, the world a smarter place to be, but they don't know the repercussions. They don't think about the harms that these things can cause. So we go on, okay? These things, they were supposed to bring us closer. They were supposed to make the world a better place for us, but unfortunately, they end up becoming bad. So what we do is we start to activate social comparison. Huge problem. And I can't explain to you what I saw in myself from this. And again, I'm from the Facebook era. Again, I'm only from the Facebook era, but I cannot tell you enough what an impact this had on me. When I would see that so-and-so was in this place, posting a picture of this place and boasting about how he's having a wonderful time in this place, and a person was eating this and enjoying this and savoring every bite of this, and another person was wearing this and loving this and showing this off, and another person was accomplishing this and made it to this and another milestone that, and I started thinking to myself, hold on, I'll be very frank. I'm not going to talk big. I've got a lot of dirt on me. I've got a lot of, I wish I was a better person. I wish I'd, but hold on a minute. Allah has blessed me immensely. Allah has given me far more than I could ever. Yes, Allah tried me and tested me. Yes, Allah brought me, to different, places in my life, which I wish I would not have been brought to, but it's okay. It's Allah's decree, and, it's that way. But Allah has blessed every single one of us immensely. Allah blessed us so much. So what I would do is that I would compare my life with him and with her and with him and with them and with this person. And I would say, hey, this is his car. I'm only driving this. Man, this guy bought a watch looking like this. This person went to that place. Oh, I missed out. This person was here. This person was sitting in these are things that bother me. And of course, I'm not a 22-year-old. I'm not a 17-year-old. So I can only imagine what it must be like for a 17-year-old or a 15-year-old or a 19-year-old versus somebody that's 35 like me. This scholar was in the company of so-and-so. And very frankly, they're going to post the best of what's happening in their life. The best of what's happening in their life. They will not post the bad days. Very seldom. And if they do, man, I don't know why they're posting it. I'm not going to be judgmental, sit here and start judging people as to why they like to do this and why they like to do that. Wallahu a'lam. That's them. And that's how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is, whatever. I have nothing to do with that. However, what I do notice is that people post the best things. People like to post the things that, happiness and things that cheer them up and things that they were enjoying. I've seen posts of people. If you were to look at the post alone, when I say post, they shared something. They posted a picture. They posted a story. They wrote a little blurb or a little, whatever it is, a TikTok or anything. They look like the happiest people on earth. And I intend not to expose a soul because I would never want myself to be exposed. But I know certain individuals on a very close basis. I know certain individuals that are very, very, I know them very well. And very frankly, that is not the life that they're living. What they posted on social media to show off to the world is not. But what did that do to me? That's what they're posting. Good for them. They want to hide what's tough. They want to hide what's rough, and they want to post what's good. Good for you. However, to me, I didn't see the bad. Well, certain people, of course, I know what's going on because they confide in me and they talk to me and they want me to talk to them and listen to them and console them and pacify them and comfort them. But others, I don't know what's going on. I have no clue what's going on in the lives of others. I don't know. I don't know. So when I see that car, when I see this scholar sitting in the company of so-and-so, and I'm not going to take names, very frankly, I'm not going to take anybody's name. When I see that stuff, I start thinking to myself, wow, he made it. I see. Well, he must be making a lot of money. I mean, wow, he gets to go for Hajj every year with that group. How come nobody asked me to go for Hajj with them? They actually did. I mean, I'm not talking big, but I'm just trying to introspect. I'm trying to I'm trying to make this about me, that this is not me addressing anybody but myself. And wallahi, this has a huge psychological influence. And I start thinking, this guy's got this many kids. I only have this many kids. This guy looks like he's the happiest person in the world with his wife. This person looks like, man, he's doing great, in terms of that, in terms of this. So you start comparing. And before you know it, the moment you log off, you're actually depressed. You're actually not feeling too happy with yourself, completely ignoring all of the blessings of Allah over you. But just because you went online and now you start comparing with other people, hey, I missed out. It's called FOMO. It used to just be a thing that, the people of this generation or millennials used. It's a real disease, fear of missing out. It happens in the stock market. Oh, that's one of the greatest things that causes people to crash. I mean, in their own little bubbles, people crash. People either it's FOMO or it's greed. Hold on, I'm talking about. Hey, I wasn't at the concert. I wasn't at the Jalsa. Excuse me. I wasn't there. I wasn't invited. Oh my! I wasn't invited. This one burns. I wasn't invited. I saw the pictures. How come I'm not there? This is so real. This is so real and ultimately, it leaves us depressed. And wallahi, you won't be able to go to sleep at night. If you let it get to your head, you're not going to sleep at night. I thought we were boys. I thought we were family. You used to talk like this and you used to talk like that. Hey, moving forward now. So what we start to do after Allah's blessed us with everything, the basic needs, we've got homes, we've got cars, some of us have families, some of us have jobs, some of us have money. So Allah has given us everything. Very frankly, in this part of the world, I think we have everything. Yes, Allah is testing who He wants to test, whatever manner He wants to test them. Completely unnecessarily now, we start to look for inclusion. I want to be a part of that too. How come all these boys gather there? I want to be a part of that too. I want to be a part of that organization too. I want to be a part of this too. I want to be a part of that too. I want to have some of this too and some of that too and some of the other too. Just because you saw some pictures online, had you not seen that picture, you had no clue that even took place in the first place. You had no clue it even happened. You had no clue what was going on, but you logged on and now you start messaging people. Now you're going to make problems for yourself. Oh man, it's intense. It's intense. I could have been there. All right. So that's a very, very, very big problem. Now look, so let me give you a few more statistical figures. So you want to know what everybody's doing all the time. Okay. So in 2017, this last statement that I just made isn't related to what I'm about to say. In 2017, approximately 500,000 8th to 12th graders, so high school students, 500,000, that's 500,000. There was 33% more depressive symptoms found in them between 2010 and 2015. One was the smartphone introduced, 27. By 2015, 92% of the youngsters, the teens, the adolescents, the young adults got them. And now we're looking at what? Now we're looking at a 33% raise and increase in depressive symptoms. Why? What is this great new shining toy that was introduced to the world that was supposed to make the world a smarter place? It was nothing but the smartphone, which is filled with these applications, with all of these social media applications that have done us great, great wonders, but have also caused us tremendous harm. And oh, this one hurt. When I read this one, the suicide rate had gone up during this time between 2010 to 2015, 65%. Suicide? I mean, depression is one thing, anxiety is one thing, poor sleep quality is another thing, inattention is another thing. All these are huge problems. Now we're talking about suicide. Suicide rates go up 65% during this period of time. Whoa, between 2010 to 2015, the centers that we find in universities, counseling centers, basically those who counsel for, patients that have depression and anxiety, the visits had gone up by 30% during this time. And all of these figures that I've given to you now were linked with the use of social media. I've got it all with me. By the way, I did a little bit of research before coming to you here. So what do we do now? What are we doing now? We're connecting with people electronically, virtually. We're there, but there's no more real life in-person interaction. And people go to a conference, people go to an event, people go to a basketball game, they no longer enjoy the moment. They're not enjoying the actual moment. They're spending the entire time recording. They're spending the entire time trying to share what they could have been enjoying themselves. So like the satisfaction that they should have acquired and achieved is no longer being, even when they are there now in person, just so that they can take whatever they've recorded, whatever they've streamed, whatever they've got saved now, and they're going to share it with the rest of the world. But you didn't get to enjoy it yourself. I mean, you were sitting there the entire time. Yeah, you probably had a tripod like I'm using right now. Yeah, you probably had a cameraman. You probably had a this or that. Hold on. That's great. That is wonderful, honestly. But enjoy the moment. Like many youngsters today no longer, and this is all stats. This is all stats, okay? These are all stats. These are numbers. Many youngsters today, and of course, unfortunately, adults as well, young adults, a little older adults, they no longer know how to hold a conversation. Like social interaction is dead. And there's surveys that were done of this. Like those who were very active on social media were very, very not active, inactive, if that's the word, in real life interactions. They didn't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to talk to people. And I have it with me here. So because we're on electronic interactions with people more, this is also a result of us being more depressed. Because the satisfaction that a person gets from interacting with someone in real life is not what you're going to get on a screen. It's not what you're going to get on social media. It does not compare at all. This is what the psychologist, and this, I'm not no psychologist, this is what I have to say too, and I definitely have to agree with. The satisfaction in sitting with people, real life people. But unfortunately today, we get together. One comes from Markham and one comes from Scarborough. The other comes from Brampton and the other one comes from Thorncliffe. And we all sit down. These are just random places I mentioned, honestly. And we all sit down. We came from so far. We got together. We had a wonderful time eating. The moment the meal is done, all right, this one takes out his phone. He's talking to somebody back home. This one's in a different part of the world in the West. This one's in a different part of the world in the East. This one's already in England. This one's already, hold on. This is not what we got together for. We came here to have a real life discussion and interaction. We came here to have a wonderful time, real conversation. Let's talk. Let us talk. Let us enjoy each other's company. Let us enjoy the presence of each other. But even then, we got together in person and we still, unfortunately, we're still engaged. We're still lost in social media. And it's not, again, it's not phone calls. Yeah, maybe one might get a phone call from their wife, another one might get the same, a third one might get, most of the time they're just on their own social media outlets and they're just in their own world. And those, so they, again, another survey was done. Those who know, I mean, they're active on social media, electronically, basically, and they're also active in real life, they're not so depressed. So those who are active on social media, but they're not active in real life, in other words, they're very, and it's not that they're introverted, it's just that they don't know how to, unfortunately, they don't interact. They're always on their phones. They're always in their own outlets. They're always on media. They're on social media. They're always on the Facebook and Instagram, Snapchat, and TikTok, that they can't, unfortunately, they don't have time to interact with people in real life. These people are more depressed. And those who do both, a little bit of both. So they're on the social media accounts and they like to go out, they go to the mall, they go to the masjid, they go for walks, they go to the park, they go on trails, they go on so many different wonderful things in the world there is to do. They're not so bad. But the ones that are only on social media, a lot of them, unfortunately, have been diagnosed with depressive symptoms. So what are we trying to do? Like, we're missing the moment. You're just catching up on somebody else's life, especially for those that don't post nothing themselves, myself included. We just catch up with other people's lives, and then we start to compare. And then we compare with what? It's not just girls, but I will mention this definitely. They put on so much aesthetics, cosmetics to try to make themselves look so good. If that becomes the norm, or if that becomes what I want to idolize, what I want to aspire to become, good luck. Good luck. It's going to be tough. And then when we see suicide rates going up like that, then you answer what? If the guy is trying to look like the guy that he sees when he's in the middle of, God knows what he's on, what he's taking, what supplements Allah knows. But if you're going to idolize someone like that, let's be real, you are going to be depressed. You're going to completely forget what Allah has blessed us with. You're only going to be thinking about something like that. And every time you put the phone down, especially if you have no initiative, you have no desire to get up and to go and to do something about it and to move and to start and to, good luck. Wallahi, I really, it kills. It really kills. And the last story I'd like to share, I've shared this during the last 15 months since the beginning of the pandemic. I used to go on, this was like 5, I don't know how many years ago, 10, no, not 10, maybe 5 years ago. I used to go on Facebook and I used to go through my whole feed until I hadn't caught up with everything that was happening with different people in parts of the world. I've got people in Oklahoma, my home away from home. I've got people in South Africa where I studied, of course. And then I've got, some friends here and there. It would take me quite some time to catch up with everything that was happening with everyone that likes to post and share on my feed. And one day it took me like an hour. And I thought to myself, hold on, 1 hour. I just spent 1 whole hour. I only get 24 of these. I probably sleep for 8 of them, eat for 2 of them. And I just spent 1 whole hour on social media. What happened? I told myself, that is it. I've had this dream from a very young age, since Allah blessed me to memorize the Holy Quran. I've had this dream of being able to read a portion of the Holy Quran, a specific portion, every single day. But I just thought it was not impossible, but like, I didn't think it was real. So I thought to myself, that very same morning, this was in the morning, we used to go to work very early. The teachers used to come in, a lot of us, 2 hours before our time would start. Not because we were obsessed, but because we had our kids going to the same school. So we used to go there anyways. And we'd be there. Sometimes we would be, preparing lesson plans, and other times doing, so doing that. Yeah, doing this on social media. We were allowed to. We had 2 hours to ourselves, let it be known. So here I am 1 hour later, I'm thinking, you know what? No. That dream of mine that I've had for the longest time of being able to read every single day that particular portion of the Holy Quran might just become a reality. But I might just have to give less importance to social media and more importance to that. Less time to social media and more time to that. I swear by Allah, if I'm not mistaken, may Allah forgive me, but That was a big oath. But I think from that day onwards is when that dream became a reality. So there's definitely good in it, but there's a lot of harm too. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala give us to understand. I know I told the executives before speaking tonight, this is a tough one, that this is definitely not my field, but I could definitely share a lot with you because I am prey to a lot of what I've said today myself. Pray like Prey, and I pray Pray to Allah to remove every child in the world that is facing any type of mental sickness. May Allah rid every single one of us of all of them. I mean, but yeah, so that's what it is. That's what it is. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala make it easy for all of us. May Allah forgive us for any mistakes. And inshallah, may Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala accept. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi.